Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we're making a custom metal stencil. When it comes to making custom stencils, we make them out of plastic, out of metal, out of wood. Literally any material can be used as a stencil. What decides what material we use for the stencil is based on the application. So in this case here, the customer needed a Jeep silhouette stencil. And in this case here, the customer wanted to use spray paint, but also use a torch sometimes. So like a flamethrower, basically. So as soon as you say fire, that removes wood, that removes rubber, that removes plastic especially. So you're basically just left with metal. Now when it comes to just metal, there's tons of different kinds of metal. You know, we could have made this out of aluminum. We made this in this case here, stainless steel. And there's also mild steel and titanium and so forth. So then you gotta decide, well, what's the most cost-effective yet durable material we can use? And in this case here, the customer is actually using a little Dremel to do the carving, I guess, on their media. And after that, use a torch, I guess, to burn it onto it. So if you're doing that, well, then you want something that stays relatively clean. So that means you have stainless steel. We could have made this out of mild steel. The only issue with mild steel is that it flash rusts, so you might have specks of rust coming onto their work, and that's really hard to remove, especially if you're doing it on wood. There's aluminum, but the cost of aluminum is, you know, just find out the cost of aluminum. Same thing with titanium. It's great material to work with, but again, not very cost effective. So in this case here, we made this using the Waterjet. Now some people think Waterjet cutting is sort of magic, and it really isn't. All it is high pressure water cutting through metal. But what you don't see in the photo, because it's happening, or in the video, because it's happening too fast, there's actually garnet or sand in that stream, because otherwise just the water would not be able to penetrate through the stainless steel that we used for this project here. So it's the sand that's abrading or wearing out the stainless steel as it's going through it. And the water is what's giving the pressure to shoot down and help that process sped along. It's no different than how you know, canyons and that kind of stuff are made over millions of years, except this is done over a couple of minutes rather than millennia. Now you can see here the water shooting up underneath, and the reason for that is because it's a water jet. So what's happening is it's shooting water and sand down, and that's hitting the bottom of the vat, because this is a large, basically a large bathtub. And all that water pressure, the 60,000 PSI shooting down, has to come back up. And that's what that is. Now, of course, this is a sped up video, so you don't really see how slow this process is. But the nice thing about it is that it's cold. So there's no warping in the metal because of heat generated, let's say if we used our plasma to cut the same model out. I just want to show you how much material is removed with the Waterjet. This is 14 gauge stainless steel, 304. So if we try to get the alignment right. So you can see how it's almost nothing. Now the plasma removes roughly the same amount of material, but we can't use the plasma for something this size because the arc is so large and there's so much heat generated during the cutting process, which is why we use the Waterjet. The Waterjet is an abrasive method, so it's basically sanding down. Same thing like mountains get, you know, sanded down to flat plains. Same idea, same concept. So what we have here is water with sand in it, basically, and just abrading off all of the metal. Now, with the plasma, if we're doing the same thing here, the plasma instantly just flash melts it, turns it into basically gas. So that produces a tremendous amount of heat. So whenever I'm plasma cutting in the shop, I can stand next to the machine, I feel the waves of heat hitting me, especially if we're doing thicker metal. So with the Waterjet, it's a cold process, so we don't have to worry about the metal getting too hot. The problem with metal getting hot is that it wants to bubble or warp, and it also gets discolored and a whole bunch of other stuff that we don't have to deal with right now. So that also dictates which machine we use to cut this with. Now we also cut metal with lasers and we do other kind of processes here, but with something this small and just a unit of one, the most cost-effective tool to do this project was actually the Waterjet. So if you have projects big or small, large volume or just a one-off, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.